Maul Shadow Lord episode 3 and 4 are here, and let me just say,
this is where the fun begins.
from incredible lightsaber duels to seeing Maul try to turn Devon Izara to the dark side, to even Easter eggs back to the Clone Wars and Attack of the Clones. There is so much going on in these two short episodes, so without further ado, let's break it down.
Let me break it down for you, Mark.
Episode 3 is titled Whispers in the Unknown, which is in reference to, well, Maul whispering the unknown to Devon Izara later on in this episode. But this episode opens back on Janix as we see the twin moons, not to be confused with twin suns, as we pick up right where episode 2 left off, where we saw Devon Izara finally tap into the Force and make her grand escape from Maul's prison. However, she doesn't make it very far, as she is met by Rook, Cast, and the other Mandalorians who point her in the direction of Maul. As she comes upon the former Sith Lord, we get this tea ceremony, as Maul begins by saying you're starting to see things from a new perspective. From Devon's point of view, the Jedi have always been her family, and Maul, who was once a Sith Lord, were the bad guys. However, the times have changed. And, of course, from Anakin's point of view,
from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
But that's a whole nother issue for a whole nother time. Maul realizes through this entire conversation that he can turn Devon to the dark side if he plays his cards right, because Devon lost everything, just like Maul. But we'll get to that in a second, because Maul describes this as Cassius tea, and we actually know where Maul got this from, and it's a very cool reference back to the Clone Wars. Back in Season 5, Episode 14, when Maul and his brother Savage Opress are working with the Death Watch, a group of Mandalorians led by Pre Vizsla. Pre Vizsla is the man who wields the Darksaber before, well, Maul battles him for it. They have a pretty odd relationship as it ends with Maul killing Pre Vizsla, but at one point the two were friends, and Vizsla even introduced Maul to the Cassius tea. And now here we are, years later, as Maul introduces it to Devon Izara. Now this conversation gets really weird really quickly, as Maul asks Devon for her name, which she doesn't give him. Keep that in the back of your head when at the end of the episode Maul says this:
I'm going to need that back, Devon.
Because Devon never tells him her name, but in this conversation we get one of the craziest Easter eggs in the entire series. This lightsaber that Devon is about to steal from Maul is pretty much the exact same lightsaber hilt from Asajj Ventress in the Dark Disciple book. Now, the events of that canon novel take place before the events of Maul Shadow Lord, so it is very well possible that Maul does indeed have Asajj Ventress's lightsaber, but that would be insane and add so many questions to what's going on here. But tell me in the comments what you think's going on here, because you put these two lightsabers side by side, they are the exact same. The only difference is one lightsaber shines red and the other shines yellow. Are we really talking about the possibility that Maul obtained Asajj Ventress's old lightsaber, bled the Kyber crystal to red, and now is offering it up to Devon Izara in Maul Shadow Lord? Okay, continuing. Maul tries to convince Devon that they are on the same side here, telling her that they are fighting the same villain. The same people who killed her Jedi Order are the ones who killed his brother and mother. This is another callback to the Clone Wars, as we saw Palpatine on Mandalore kill Savage Opress in one of the most underrated lightsaber duels ever. And we even see Mother Talzin die in the Clone Wars, and Mother Talzin, although a witch, seems to be Maul's mom. Now this reference is enough for fans like myself, who already know the backstory with Mother Talzin and Savage Opress. But to a normie fan who is watching Maul Shadow Lord for the first time and doesn't even know this character or his backstory, I certainly hope for those fans we get even more of an explanation to what happened. But back to this scene, Maul is still describing to her all the things that happened to him and how they are the same, even his master casting him aside. Like we know, Palpatine was his former master and cast him to the side, replacing him with Lord Vader, who we will be seeing in this series.
My lord, Maul lives.
But just as Devon is about to grab the cup of tea and maybe stay a while and listen to what Maul has to say, Maul says, "So tell me again, are we nothing alike?" And Devon at this point cannot get past the fact that this guy was once a Sith Lord and she was once a Jedi. Although times have changed, her mind has not. So instead of grabbing the tea, she uses the Force to grab the lightsaber, possibly Asajj Ventress's former lightsaber, and ignites it. And Maul's response is, turn off the lights. This whole sequence of the whispers of the unknown, of Devon trying to escape and Maul whispering to her the entire time, trying to lure her to the dark side, is
perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The horror vibes of Maul flashing in and out of existence is so unbelievably cool, but this so-called training sequence is interrupted as we go back to the police headquarters of Janix, as Two Boots and Brander Lawson are still searching for Maul and his accomplices. Brander has figured out that this is all connected to the underworld, as in episode 2, he did learn that Maul was once the leader of the Shadow Collective, which was a supergroup of criminal syndicates led by Maul, and it included the Black Sun, Crimson Dawn, and Pikes. So you can see on this board plenty of pictures of the Pikes. You can even see the logo of the Black Sun. Now, it's still unconfirmed whether or not we will see the Black Sun in this series. I think it's highly likely we see the Crimson Dawn, specifically the character of Dryden Voss, just because by the time of Solo, a Star Wars story, years after this show takes place, we will see Dryden Voss in the Crimson Dawn. But this is our first look at anything towards the Black Sun. So tell me in the comments, do you think we will see the Black Sun in this series? So with this new evidence, Brander and Two Boots figure out that they need to find where the Pikes and Vario are going to meet up. Wherever this goes down is where Maul's people are going to be, and from there they can track him back to his base. But there's two problems with this plan. One, Brander Lawson has to go see his son Riley as it's game day on Janix, and two, Two Boots wants to call the Empire. But for now, Brander convinces Two Boots to still not call the Empire as he goes off to his son's game. We then cut back to Maul and Devon still in this dark room as Devon is trying to escape. Maul is trying to rile her up, have the hate and anger come out of her, even saying that she should strike him down. Isn't that what the Jedi wanted? But as that conversation is going on in the other room, Rook Kast goes to talk to Vario, as she needs the location of the next Pike shipment, which is exactly where Two Boots is also going. And this show does not mess around. The very next scene is that said meeting with the Pikes. This meeting ends up in a giant firefight as Two Boots chases after Rook Kast and the others. We get to see how truly badass Two Boots is in this scene right here. And although Rook and the others get away, Two Boots is able to at least calculate which direction they were going. And then we cut across town to this giant stadium. This is where Riley plays the game of Bodkin. It's like the Star Wars version of lacrosse. We've gotten other sports in Star Wars, although not many. We've seen Huttball, which is playable in the Star Wars Old Republic game, Gravball, which is originally from the book The Servants of the Empire. But here we get to see Brander Lawson and Master Iko Dio finally have a conversation. Their relationship kind of seems like a Batman and Commissioner Gordon type, and Iko Dio asks Brander Lawson about his niece, referring to Devon Zara. Iko Dio is just trying to make sure that the police don't find out that he's a Jedi. Since Order 66, him and Devon have been on the run, and it seems like they've found themselves a little bit of a home here on Janix, and he really doesn't want to jeopardize that. So he's telling Brander that what she did was not her fault and that she's not going to cause any trouble. But this conversation is cut short as Two Boots calls in with an emergency, and Brander has to leave his son's game. And as he does, Riley scores a goal and looks over to see his dad is gone. Brander's life is getting a little bit chaotic. He doesn't really have time for his job and his child. And we even learn in these two episodes where his wife is. And that complicates things even more, but we'll get to that. Back with Devon and Maul, as Maul is still trying to, convert Devon to the dark side, he warns her of the Jedi Hunters. Now, this is a reference to the Inquisitors, which Maul seems to have some sort of information about. He at least knows of their existence, and he asks if Devon is even prepared to face one of them, suggesting that Maul could train her to be powerful enough to fight back. But Devon is not on board with that plan, as she begins to climb her way out. We then go back to Brander, who has just arrived at the crime scene. He picks up Two Boots as he informs him of what's going on, and the two of them go the direction that Rook Kast went. However, Two Boots suggests, due to all of this escalation, it is imperative that they should alert the Empire. Brander still says no, to which Two Boots says, I remember that during the time of the Republic, situations of this magnitude would warrant us to call the Republic, and they would dispatch a Jedi Knight to assist. However, now it's the Empire, and they would dispatch an Inquisitor. The Two Boots, a droid, that seems like the same thing. However, Brander knows better. And this is where we learn that Brander's wife, or should I say, former wife, works for the Empire. Now, I wonder if we'll ever meet Brander Lawson's wife in the first place, but I also wonder if she will be a recognizable face when we do meet her. It would be crazy if she's somebody that we've already been introduced to, and we get a little more backstory on that character as well. But going back to this scene, Brander does tell Two Boots that if the Empire comes here, they will take over. He has seen what they are capable of, and he even says that they ruin lives. The mysterious background between Brander Lawson and the Empire continues to grow. We know from this prequel comic that Brander was once a bounty hunter, but his interactions with the Empire seem to be very large, especially given that his former wife works for the Empire. But back with Rook, Cast, and Vario, Vario is getting pretty hungry, and he says, "I'm thinking of a Nerf fillet," which is a reference to
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
as a Nerf is a animal in Star Wars. I guess it's sort of a buffalo/cow type of animal. Even the main character of Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, Sig, and his brother Dev are both Nerf herders. And I don't know about you guys, but a Nerf steak sounds pretty awesome. In the premiere of Maul Shadow Lord, we got to look at the chicken parm of the Star Wars universe. Imagine what a Nerf steak would look like. Okay, but getting back to the scene, Rook Cast does need Vario so that he can send a holo message all the way to the Pikes to set up a meeting. We then see the Pike leader, Marg Krem, and it's actually been confirmed by Lucasfilm that the design of the Pikes in Maul Shadow Lord is a combination of the Pikes we see in the Clone Wars and the live action design that we see in the Book of Boba Fett, because the Pikes have gone through quite a lot of different designs in Star Wars, and Maul is just trying to bring them all together. So Krem has been the leader of this organization for years now, and Vario tries to explain to Krem that these shipments being messed with was not him. It was some of the people who used to work for Demas just trying to mess with Vario because he killed their leader. And as Krem is threatening Vario, he says he will feed him to the Nexu Horde, which is a cat-like creature that we have seen before, all the way back in Attack of the Clones, episode 2 of the prequel trilogy. The cat-like creature that attacks Padme Amidala on Geonosis in the giant Colosseum scene, that is the same creature that Krem is threatening Vario with in this scene. Such a cool Easter egg and callback to Attack of the Clones. Vario convinces Krem that he will personally bring the credits that he owes the Pikes to their home world of Obadiah, and this sets up the meeting that Maul has been waiting for. But before we get to that meeting, we go back to the police headquarters on Janix, as we get a conversation between Brander Lawson and Chief of Police, Chief Kelsey, as she tells Brander that Two Boots came to her directly, trying to go over his head to tell her that they should call the Empire. And Chief Kelsey agrees with Two Boots, saying that this is escalating out of control. And to convince Brander, she says, what's worse, the city under attack by a madman like Maul, endangering innocent lives, or the Empire? But Brander buys a little bit more time, as Two Boots gets reassigned to desk duty. And episode 3 ends with this training sequence between Maul and Devon ending, as Devon climbs her way out of this hole. Very, ironic, as this is a very similar hole that Maul fell down in The Phantom Menace when he got chopped in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And as she climbs to the top, Maul is already up there. The two begin to fight, as Maul is trying to draw the anger out of Devon, telling her that she has no hope, that she's so weak, that her future was robbed from her, the Jedi Order is gone, and that she is squandering that gift by just sitting here on Janix doing nothing, not fighting back. As Devon's anger continues to grow, she loses it. And this could be our first look at what people are calling the canon version of Darth Talon. Darth Talon is a Legends character who was supposed to be brought into canon in George Lucas's version of the sequel trilogy, as she was going to be the Twi'lek apprentice to Darth Maul. But for now, Devon resists the dark side. But as she's running out the door, Maul uses the Force to grab his lightsaber back, as he calls her Devon. Now, how does he know her name? She did not tell him. Is it the Force visions that he's having? Tell me what you think in the comments, because that ends episode 3. And my goodness, did they start it with a bang. I thought this third episode could have been some sort of filler as Devon goes back to her master after she escaped at the end of episode 2. Nope. We got Maul trying to lure her to the dark side with this epic lightsaber duel at the end for the entire episode. All the Brander Lawson and the Pike stuff was amazing, and it leads me to give this episode a 9 out of 10. I think it was better than both the first and the second episode of this series so far. Just wait, because episode 4 is even better. But having said that, let's break down episode 4. This episode is titled Pride and Vengeance. Vengeance in reference to not just Maul, but also Devon Izara wanting vengeance on Maul. And the opening to this episode might be the greatest opening to any Star Wars episode ever, as we don't mess around for a single second, and it starts on the Pike homeworld of Obadiah. We've seen this planet countless times throughout the Clone Wars, and we see Vario arrive with the credits he owes the Pikes. As he exits the ship, Vario, clearly on edge, starts to warn the Pikes that this wasn't his fault, as a Zabrak with a lightsaber in a hood comes out and starts killing the Pikes. And Vario actually puts this guy down with his blaster on stun, which gets Vario face to face with Marg Krem. Exactly what Maul was hoping to happen, because as Krem gets a closer look at the Zabrak under the hood, it is the character Icarus, not Maul. As the door to this throne room opens and Maul enters, using the Force to grab his lightsaber out of Krem's hand, and as he does, he Snokes him. Get it? You know, Snoke, Last Jedi, yeah, no, okay. He calls the lightsaber back to his hand, putting both ends of his sabers together, making the iconic double-bladed lightsaber that we know and love, and kills most of the Pikes in the room, as the others surrender. And as Maul goes up to Krem's dead body, he explains why he hates the Pikes so much. He says after what happened on Mandalore after Order 66 happened, he came to seek refuge with the Pikes, and they tried to kill him, turning their backs on the old Sith Lord. So Maul gets his revenge, and he warns that this outcome is what awaits all who betrayed him. Not just the Pikes, but the Black Sun, the Crimson Dawn, and Palpatine. That last one I don't really think he's going to get to accomplish, but he has dreams. The Pikes in the room then kneel before Maul, and he makes this Pike named Colt the new captain of the guard, and tells him that he now works for Maul. And then cue the title card. I mean, talk about an opening to an episode. So insanely cool. But back on Janix, we see Devon, as she just escaped at the end of last episode, meeting back up with Master Iko Dio. The two of them go to their so-called home in the sewers underneath Janix. Here you see Devon happy, happier than we've ever seen her in the show so far. And I hate to be the one to say it, but Devon Izara is going to turn to the dark side. And the big thing that makes that happen is her master is going to die. The guy that makes her so happy, the last string attached to the Jedi Order that she knows and loves, that string will be cut. But in this scene, Master Iko Dio tries to tell Devon that they need to leave this city immediately. But Devon tells him that she knows exactly where Maul is. And although Master Daki does not want to fight Maul, Devon does convince him to alert Brander Lawson about Maul's whereabouts. So Master Iko Dio does agree to give the information to Brander Lawson. And like I said before, this show doesn't mess around. We immediately go to the next scene where Brander Lawson is getting the information that Devon and her master were just talking about. Brander has finally found where Maul is, and he goes to Chief Kelsey, who approves the mission. But when Brander goes back to his desk and tells Two Boots that they have a lead on Maul's location, Two Boots says that he must alert the Empire, as Two Boots knows that they are not equipped enough to capture Maul, which they're not. Two Boots is 100% right in this situation, but Brander is not having it. So the two of them go into this room, and Brander Lawson shuts Two Boots down. We then cut to Maul's hideout, where we see Master Iko Dio and Devon waiting for the police's arrival. And as the police finally do arrive, they are met by Vario, who has a holo message from Maul. And my speculation from the first two episodes is confirmed to be true. Maul did not kill Brander when he had the chance in that premiere because he knew he could use him. As he says in episode 4, I've come to suspect you as a man of honor and intelligence. Maul knows that Lawson doesn't like the Empire as much as he does, but he also wants to let him know who's really in charge here. As Rook, Cast, and the others come out of the darkness, surrounding the police officer, Maul hopes to come to an agreement before they make some sort of mistake, as he offers Brander Lawson protection. Now let's not forget, before Maul showed up, Vario and Demas, they ruled the underworld on Janix, and Brander was either perfectly okay with that or at least let it happen. So Maul's not crazy to think that this guy won't agree to some sort of protection deal. And Maul knows, because the Empire's not here right now, that Brander is breaking protocol. So Maul's offer is very simple. He won't hurt anybody on this planet and won't cause any problems, as long as he doesn't call the Empire, and that his operations go unimpeded. Brander, after thinking about it for a long time, declines the offer, which is not what Maul wanted to hear, as he tells Brander to die well. And the fighting commences. And while all that fighting is happening, Master Iko Dio and Devon are searching for Maul. They find him in the top floor of this abandoned building, as Maul is excited to see Devon. And as he hoped, she brought her master, as Maul's intention is to kill said master and take Devon as his own apprentice. Master Daki tells Maul it's time for him to surrender, to which Maul laughs. He says, "When has that passive ideology ever worked for the Jedi? Haven't you learned your lesson? The entire Jedi Order is gone now." To which Master Iko Dio responds with, "And yet we have survived." Not many Jedi have survived, but he and Devon have survived. And Maul's response to that is, "You survive, but you do not live. With the powers and the abilities that they have, they should be leaders and respected by all." And as Maul is speaking, we get this shot of Devon as she is clearly debating her life. What Maul is saying is true. The life that she and Master Iko Dio have been living for the last couple years since Order 66 has been a bad one. They live in a sewer on Janix, running for their lives. But for now, Devon remains a good guy. And they all ignite their lightsabers, and we get this epic lightsaber duel. Now, the animation of this series is up a whole nother level, and that's been clear throughout the first 3 episodes. But this lightsaber duel in particular is up a whole nother level. And as Maul takes on 2 Jedi, very similar to his time back on Naboo when he fought 2 Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, we actually even get a very similar result to that fight, as Maul absolutely destroys these 2 Jedi, and although he doesn't kill either of them like he does Qui-Gon Jinn, he certainly tries to kill Master Iko Dio. But as Devon saves her master, Maul has to run, because the reinforcements of the police have arrived, and Brander Lawson arrives at the scene of the battle. He picks up Master Iko Dio's lightsaber and gives it back to him, telling him the backup is arriving and they must leave. He is protecting the Jedi. That is definitely not protocol. However, as much as Brander Lawson doesn't want the Empire to arrive, in the very next scene, we get Spybot. Okay, let me pause there. I must say I do have one gigantic problem with these 2 episodes. Not nearly enough Spybot, but Spybot does see something, and you hear the sound of an Imperial probe droid, as the Empire has officially arrived on Janix. And the episode ends as a Star Destroyer comes over the city, most likely with Inquisitors on board. But that ends episode 4 of Maul Shadow Lord. From wild hidden details and Easter eggs to amazing lightsaber duels, this show is firing on all cylinders. And I know I've already said it, but I'm saying it again, they don't mess around. These 2 episodes are what I thought the next 6 episodes were going to be. There's no filler in this show. It's all killer. No filler. And this 4th episode is the best this show has been so far. And I give it a 9.3 out of 10. From the opening sequence on Obadiah, I thought this Pike stuff was going to be the entire 2 episodes this week. They deal with Krem in like 10 minutes and immediately go on to the big fight and the showdown between Maul, Master Iko Dio, and Devon and Brander Lawson too. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. What do you rank these 2 episodes on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you think there are Inquisitors on that Star Destroyer? And do you think Vader and Palpatine will show up in this series? Well, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that both of those characters will be in this show, but I break down all the evidence in this video right here.